Welcome back, pre-algebra students. We're in lesson 118. We're going to talk about converting volume today. We've talked about converting area, and we know how to double those units of measure to make sure we have the right amount. We're going to do the same thing with volume. We know that a cubic foot is a unit of volume measurement, meaning that there are three dimensions. There's a height, there's a width, and there's a depth. But how many cubic inches are there in a cubic foot? And how do we figure that out? Well, first we need to know our reference. We know that in 1 foot we have 12 inches, right? So if we look at this, we can see that a cubic foot represented here, we have 12 inches across and 12 inches tall and then 12 inches deep. That is a cubic foot. So in order to convert that into the number of cubic inches that we have, we're going to use the same type of conversion method we've used before. We're going to convert 1 cubic foot into cubic inches. And I'm going to write it like this so you can see the exponent. All right, and this exponent tells us how many times to write the unit of measure and how many times we need to find the unit of measure. So we're going to do 1 foot. That's 1 foot once, foot twice, foot 3 times over 1. We'll make that a fraction. So now we're going to convert that through multiplication. And now whatever unit of measure is on the top, we know we need to put that on the bottom. So we're going to put our reference fraction here. We're going to put 12 inches on the top is the same as 1 foot on the bottom. Now that allows us to cancel out one of these feet. We're going to repeat that process. 12 inches on the top is the same as 1 foot on the bottom. We're going to cancel out another unit of measure. And we're going to do that one more time. 12 inches on the top, 1 foot on the bottom. We cancel out that last unit of measure, and we end up with 12 times 12 times 12 inches cubed over 1, which we know makes this a whole number. And we say inches cubed because we have inches once, inches twice, inches 3 times. So inches 3 times, right? 12 times 12 times 12 just happens to be 1,728 inches cubed. And that's how many here we have. Now, we know that volume is calculated length times width times depth, or whatever you want to call those 3 dimensions. We know that those dimensions are interchangeable as long as we have the correct measurement in place. So we have a width here of 12. We have a height here, which we'll use as our length of 12. And then we have a depth here of 12. So our volume calculation matches up to what we did with our unit conversion here. And that just is a proof to show us that they are calculated the same way, and that ends up being 1,728 cubes, right? Which is the same thing as saying cubic inches. So we know that this is the right way to do that because we've done the volume calculation below, and they are the same result. So let's do a couple more practice problems. Let's clear the page and let's put those up here. All right, here are our 3 example problems for this lesson. We're going to convert 14 cubic feet to cubic inches. So the first thing we do is we write 14 cubic feet in the proper format. We know that that's going to be 14. And cubic feet is going to be feet cubed, or feet to the 3rd power. So we write feet 3 times. That is our volume, or our cubic dimension, is the exponent of 3. So feet once times feet twice times feet 3 times. We're We're going to put that over 1, and then we're going to use our reference of feet to inches, which is 1 foot is 12 inches. And we're going to multiply. We're going to put 12 inches in the top and 1 foot in the bottom. That allows us to cancel this one. Times 12 inches in the top, 1 foot in the bottom, which allows us to cancel the second unit of measure of feet. And then again, 12 inches in the top and 1 foot in the bottom, which allows us to cancel the final unit of measure. So we end up with 14 times 12, and we have 12 3 times, so that's cubed. And we have inches 3 times, so that is cubed as well. Now you could leave the answer just like this, that would be fine. Or you could bring up your calculator, and I'm going to do this the way that PEMDAS tells me to, which is to do the exponent first. So I'm going to say 12 with the exponent of 3 times 14 is equal to 24,192 inches. So 24,192 inches cubed. So I would take either one of those answers in the system. So let's do the second example problem. We have 140 cubic yards. So that's going to be 140 and then yards 3 times. So yards, yards, yards over 1. And we're going to convert that to cubic inches. So first we need to relate yards to inches. And the way we're going to do that is through feet. We know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, right? So we are going to say times 3 feet over 1 yard. That's going to cancel a yard. We'll do that again. 3 feet over 1 yard. That cancels another yard. And then we have 3 feet over 1 yard. And that cancels the final yard. Now we have to go from feet to inches. So we repeat what we did in the previous problem when we say 12 inches over 1 foot. That cancels this foot. Times 12 inches over 1 foot. That cancels that unit of measure. And the final one is 12 inches over 1 foot. And we cancel that unit of measure. Now we are left with 140 times 3 cubed times 12 cubed in inches cubed, because we have 1, 2, 3 inches. All right, and we have inches 3 times. So now we can leave the answer like that, or we can multiply. And I'm going to just start with the highest number here, which is 12 to the exponent of 3. And then I know that 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, so I'm just going to say times 27 times 140 is equal to, oh goodness, that's a big number, 6,531,840. So 6 million, oh goodness, I forgot the number, 840 cubic inches. You can leave it like this and turn it in like that without having to do this. Either one is fine. So one final one. This time we're going to be converting cubic inches to cubic miles. So what we need to do now is know how many feet are in a mile. And we know that 1 mile is the same as 5,280 feet. Okay? So let's start with cubic inches. So we write 50163,529, and we write inches once, inches twice, inches 3 times. We put that all over 1. And now we're going to go from inches to feet to miles. So we have inches in the top, so we need to put inches in the bottom. So we're going to put 1 foot is 12 inches. That cancels the first one. times 1 foot over 12 inches. That cancels the second one. Times 1 foot over 12 inches. That cancels the final inch. Now we're going to go from feet to miles. And so we have feet in the top. We want to put feet in the bottom. So 1 mile is 5,280 feet. That cancels the first unit of measure of feet. And then 1 mile is the same as 5,280 feet. That cancels the second unit of measure of feet, times 1 mile over 5,280 feet. That cancels the final unit of measure of feet, and that is going to equal 50163,529 over 12 cubed times 5,280 cubed. And that's going to be in miles cubed. So you could leave it like that, or let's scroll this up a little bit. You could put in the calculator and get the answer. And I'm going to do the bottom, the denominator first. So I have 5,280 cubed, goodness, times 12 times 12 times 12 equals a very, very big number. So if you don't want to have to remember that number and write it down, then you could just leave it like this and it'd be perfectly right. I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper so I will remember it, so I could write it on the screen. 254358061056000. All right. So I'm going to put that on the screen here over the top of this, or underneath this, I should say. 254358061 6000, or 056,000. There we go. That is the number, and it is, let me put in my commas. So this is thousands, this is millions, this is billions. So 254 trillion, 358 billion, 61 million, 56,000 inches. Is that right? No. That's what we're dividing by. So now I'm going to put this number back up here so we can see what we have. So I'm going to divide this by this to get my answer. So I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to put in 50163,529 divided by, and then I'm going to type in the bottom number, 254358061 056 1 2 3 zeros equals 1 2 3 4 5 6 zeros. So 6 zeros, 197. I'm just going to round this up to the next number, which would round this up to 2. So 6 zeros and a 2. So 0.12345 and a 2 cubic miles is the answer to that. So you could stop here and I'd be perfectly happy with your answer. Just type it in like that, or you could calculate it out like that. Either one would be correct. All right, that is all we have for lesson 118. You can see how that works. You're just going to write it 3 times when it says cubic. You write the unit of measure twice when it says square, and you write it only once when we're just doing length. Square means area, and cubic means volume. All right, I will see you all in lesson 119.